Yo, welcome in to another edition of the Phoenix Sports Podcast. Oh, Shane's trusting me. Mac, well, okay. Welcome into another edition of the Phoenix Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Shawn DePaz, alongside the one and only. You got to do it now.
DJ Mackie P.
Oh, that was lame. DJ Mackie P. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a 5-star review, some comments. Tell Mackie you like her glasses.
Sponsored by Shady Rays.
Yup. Shout out to people who got in the chat. CWP. I'm not used to doing this part of this.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's really
over?
CWP, Ryan, Elizabeth, and not more importantly, but especially.
No, they're in person. They're more important.
Yeah, they're more important. We got a couple diehards on the cut. Daniel and Chris are here watching live. Can't see them. They're right off the stage. I'm looking at them right now.
I might just pan Makayla's camera.
Yeah, honestly, it wouldn't be a bad. If you didn't show up, Daniel was going to host it. It was going to host the show with me. If you're wondering why Mac is in the shape she is, I guess
Disheveled is the correct term.
Yeah. This time. What, 12 hours ago, Mac was 2 hours away from ending her night in Nashville. So we, in case you didn't.
No.
Oh, I'm doing the time.
This time 10 hours ago.
Yes.
I got home at 2:20 a.m.
Yes. From
Broadway.
Yes, in Nashville.
I had 40 minutes to pack and get in an Uber.
And you did.
And get to the airport.
She did that on time.
I was on time.
I only had 40 minutes to pack.
I was on time.
She was.
I was in the Uber before any y'all.
She was. No, she did one thing on time. If you didn't know, me, Mac, and the PHNX Coyotes crew and Shane were in Nashville for the NHL Draft.
We were.
And the Coyotes did a few things.
Just a few.
None of which included trades. They had 12 picks in the draft, and they used all 12 of them. The first two, much to the surprise, I think, of a lot of Coyotes fans, Dmitri Simashev, a 80-foot tall defenseman out of Russia who was not anywhere. It was like not even a first round in a lot of mock drafts.
Nope, not on our draft board.
You were there on the floor.
Uh-huh.
What was your reaction, and I guess the reaction of the people when that pick was made at 6?
When they went up there to announce the pick at 6, they said the name, and like it was so quiet.
Okay, so important context.
People were like, "Wait."
Important context. If you weren't following the NHL draft, there was a kid named Matvei Michkov from Russia, who was very controversial because it was very questionable about whether he'd be able to come over to the United States and play for a handful of different reasons. So it was, but he was considered a top 3 talent in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going just based on talent, but because of the other stuff, he slid and was available there at 6 for the Coyotes. And we had heard a report from at least one credible journalist, I think it was Elliot Friedman, say that if Matvei was there, they were going to take him. So then we get to pick 6. Matvei's there. They say from Russia. And as Daniel is referencing in the chat, I got real excited. I threw my hands up. And then they said, they didn't say Sochi, which is the club that Matvei Michkov plays for, and I got real confused. And then they said Dmitri Simashev, which is a guy that I had literally never heard of, which is saying something because if you didn't know, I produced the Coyote Show where they covered draft prospects in great detail leading up to the draft. And then I was in complete and utter shock. And then 6 picks later, at pick 12, there's a few other highly talented kids that have been linked to possibly the Coyotes being interested in them. And yet again, they go to Russia. Danill Boot, this time a forward, another big kid. Reaction to that one?
Also, not expected. I think it was tough because, obviously the whole time leading up to the draft, everyone was set on who their favorite prospect was. And neither of these two kids were on anybody's radar. And so the Coyotes drafting was a little bit unexpected, I think is a good way to put it. The scouts over in Europe must have put in like overtime.
Yeah, so that's an interesting part of this because these kids played in Russia where as of the last few years, you have not been able to watch them live. So that made it even bigger risk. These are kids that we never heard of, and we also, or at least thought we knew, that these weren't anybody. These were guys that they hadn't even been able to watch live in a while. We later learned through the great reporting of Craig Morgan that they snuck into Belarus to watch these kids play in a tournament. So they were one of 2 teams that actually got to see these kids play live.
Yeah, which is
because they were teammates, by the way.
Decision making. I don't know if that's
you got to
the
risk it for the biscuit. You got to risk it for the biscuit. They did. And I think, and I mean, I feel like Chris and Daniel could also speak to this. Initially, the reaction was very, very negative, very shocked.
Yeah.
But by the time the night was over, I think a lot of Coyotes fans got in a much better place. Craig Button, Leah talked to Craig Button during the draft, and he said that they could have ended up having 2 steals, that Dmitri Simashev could potentially be the best defenseman in this draft. If he had played, I forget who it was, but someone had said that if he had played in the CHL, he would have been a unanimous top 10 pick.
Yeah. Well, everything that because I was obviously doing graphics and stuff and getting all the information out on Twitter. Like everything that I saw and was like reading, people were saying he might be the best defenseman of the draft.
Yeah.
Like it was not even, he's like, okay, defensively. Yeah. Like, no, they were saying he might be the best defenseman in the draft. Obviously, I think he went overlooked because, again, of the geopolitical situation in Russia right now. So not a lot of scouts.
Of geopolitical, by the way.
Thank you. I'm still coherent. Not a lot of scouts could get out there and like actually watch him. Yeah. And like you mentioned, the Coyotes pulled like a James Bond 007 and snuck into Belarus so they could watch him play. And just like listening to what the scouts had to say about how he was on the ice, how he impressed them, how he was as a person, it really kind of sold me on it. And I definitely was in the camp of what the heck did the Coyotes just do? Like, who are these 2 kids? But then hearing all of the things that I heard from the scouts, from the reports that I read, also interviewing them both. Simashev can speak a little bit more English than Daniel Boot could. But also, I think we're overlooking the fact that they were also teammates. Yeah. So they already have a rapport with each other. They both played in the KHL on the same team for the Locomotive. Yep. And so I think that's really cool too. There was a moment on draft night where Dmitri Simashev was on the broadcast and the Coyotes were picking at number 12 again, and they were asking, all right, like, what do you think the Coyotes are going to do here? Like, the Coyotes are on the clock. And he said, oh, it'd be great, like, if they took my teammate. Yep. And they did. And his face of genuine shock when they read out Daniel Boot's name was the most wholesome moment of the whole draft night, I think, honestly, awesome. Because he was so excited for his teammate. And then when Daniel Boot went to the podium to talk to reporters, Simashev was off to the side and he was on FaceTime, and he was FaceTiming Daniel Boot's friends, but they're also his friends and teammates back in Russia.
Well, that's the other thing. I think we forget that they're like literal children. Yeah. They're just like, so, and I think that got thrown in my face when I was on day 2, when I was there and seeing them in person. It was like, oh, that's a child. But you mentioned his teammate, Daniel Boot, and that's another kid who, like we said, I think when he was taken, it was met with a lot of shock and a little bit of disgust. Yeah. And just like confusion, frustration, what have you. But similar to Dmitri Simashev, none of us know what the hell we're talking about. He's actually a pretty good hockey player. Again, I'm forgetting who. There was so many people in the hockey media there that Craig and Leah got to talk to that all the names kind of blend together. But someone said that Boot could potentially have the highest ceiling of any player in this draft. He could be a bona fide superstar. And if you consider the fact that they got these guys at 6 and 12 when no one wanted them, people wanted them, but no one knew who they were, publicly at least. Yeah. And they could end up being 2 of the best players in the draft. They're not going to be Connor Bedard, right? But what?
Who knows?
I mean, yeah, I guess who knows? Anything can happen, right? But usually those kids that they say are going to be good, like Daniel. Wow, I almost said Daniel Bedard. Jeez, like Connor Bedard, they end up being pretty good. Anyways, but they have the potential of getting 2 of the best players in this first round. Yeah. Which is hilarious when you again think about how those picks were reacted to when they were made.
Yeah, so negative. Everyone was not having it, but I think I'm excited. I'm on the trade now. I'm excited to watch and see how it pans out. I think overall, I was really happy with the Coyotes draft. Yes. I think they were low-key drafting an NBA team. They didn't pick. They had 12 picks in this draft.
Yes.
12. Not a single pick was under 6'1".
That is, yeah.
They had some 6'5"ers, some 6'7"ers.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So the 6'7" kid was what I was going to talk about next. As you mentioned their draft and being happy with their draft in general. A big part of that for me was them taking 3 goaltenders on day 2, including a 6'7" kid who is from Czechia, I believe, but plays in the United States. They bolstered like their position groups. They got a guy who could potentially be a top pair defenseman.
Yeah.
A guy that could end up being a frontline forward or first line forward, and 3 goaltenders.
Yeah.
So they address like all of the positions, and that's so like I'm with you that I ultimately think even ignoring the first day of the draft, like what they accomplished on the second day, I think is about as much as you can accomplish on the second day, especially considering all the picks they had. They had 11 picks.
Which also I'm shocked that they used all of them.
Yeah.
I thought that there were going to be some trades happening, that they were going to use some draft capital to maybe acquire some players or just like move around in the draft.
You had a guy like Matvei Michkov available at 6.
Yeah.
And there had been reports for weeks leading up to the draft that the Washington Capitals, Alexander Ovechkin, famous Russian, that they wanted him. And so you thought that there would be a potential to trade there, but they said that they liked their players and they wanted to make their picks to kind of address some of that depth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. I really like the draft.
They got size.
They got size. That's the other thing for me is that like up until, and it's something I tried to reiterate, even though I had a negative reaction to the first picks in the draft.
Your first reaction was so funny. If you haven't seen it, you have to go watch it on the PHNX Draft Day live show. His jaw was on the floor for like a solid 20 minutes.
It was complete shock. But
it was so good.
Like even in the moment, I tried to reiterate that like we had so much. We've all been talking about how much faith we have in GMBA and in the job that he's done. Like you have to keep the faith there. And I think like you saw within 24 hours why you have to keep the faith, because everyone's opinion or the public opinion on the guys that they had taken had done a complete 180. So in that vein, like GMBA clearly had he has an identity for his team. They're big, they're strong.
He has a vision, and I'm bought into it. Like, I haven't really bought into a GM's vision since Mike Hazen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so fully in on Mike Hazen's vision for the Diamondbacks, and I've been a Mike Hazen truther since 2017, 16. And now I'm really starting to get on the GMBA, like, vision bandwagon.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that coming in, he was obviously really good at developing Stanley Cup winning teams. He did it with the Blues. So I think I'm more now even full belief with GMBA than I was even before this draft. But yeah, even Charles Woodall-Pike in the comments saying he was shocked that nobody made a first round trade. That's the first time. Yeah, and it is the first time it's happened since 2007.
I believe there were only like 2 or 3 trades in the entire draft, especially if you ignore the ceremonial one that was made at the end of it. I'm pretty sure it was ceremonial, at least. So David Poile
it had to have been.
Yeah, if you watch the draft, the first team that drafts just needs to, on behalf of everybody, thank the city they're in, congratulate the Stanley Cup champions, and thank the fans back home.
No one else needs to do it.
The Vegas Golden Knights did not need to be thanked 31 times. Anytime made a pick.
Anytime anybody said, congratulations to the Vegas Golden Knights for winning the Stanley Cup, boo.
Yeah, we were literally, and
the whole arena.
Me and PD, and for part of it, Pikeman Adventure, who was in Nashville, we were literally, we were checking boxes every time someone came up, being like, okay, they got to thank the fans back at whatever bar they were hosting their watch party at. They got to congratulate the Golden Knights. They got to shout out David Poile, the retiring GM of the Nashville Predators.
Which I kind of liked.
That was cool. He got a lot of face time.
And he has been an executive in the league for longer than I've been alive.
Yeah, it was really cool in the 7th round when he made his last pick. He got a standing ovation from the arena, and like all of the scouts and GMs on the floor. That was a really cool moment.
It was cool, for sure.
It still got a little tired for me.
Yeah. But all in all, I'm super happy. I'm really happy with the size they got. I think, obviously not all of these draft picks are going to pan out and not all of them are going to make it to NHL, but just hypothetically, if they were speaking, they would be one of the biggest teams of the league. Like all the other teams trying to fight the Coyotes, like the Coyotes would be like looking down on them, like towering above them.
Yeah.
One of our diehards said the Coyotes need to change their name to the Arizona Redwoods because they are going to be huge.
Yeah. No one is bullying this
even
team.
the Tenny that they took, Michael, I don't speak Czech.
Rabel.
So I don't want to
Like
Rabel.
Yeah.
Okay, I
It's
didn't want to
spelled
butcher it.
HRABEL or LE or something like that.
Yeah, the 6'7" kid. When he walked into the room, I was like, oh my God. I rarely ever have to look up at anybody. And I was like, my neck was like grating to try to make eye contact.
On the other side of the size, I feel like they did a really good job. And we saw this with a bunch of the kids that were at the draft that talked after they were picked.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like and obviously it's the draft, like it's all kind of, you can only read into such, but it seemed like they tried to draft like good people, really intelligent
that's a great
kids.
point.
A bunch of kids that put a big emphasis on education. We had a kid that's going to Cornell. The reason that Rabel is in the States playing hockey is because his parents were emphasizing his education. Like, Petey did a walking and talking with Tanner Ludke, and he was super nice. Like they just had a bunch of like really good, intelligent kids.
I need everyone to start learning the name Jonathan Castagna. He is my favorite
He's the Cornell
pick
kid,
out of the entire draft. He's the Cornell kid. He was the 70th pick in the 3rd round. Gem, just a gem of a human being.
He was a kid that he declined going to play juniors in Canada, so he can go to he can play college, or he can go to a college preparatory school and then go to college in the States. Which in
Noel
Canada
Nord
is
was awesome
rare.
too, the Swede.
Yeah,
he was he got up there and he's like,
"This is sick."
like, oh my God, they're so cute. They're so
ultimately like I have a really good feeling of the draft.
Tanner Ludke was a gem.
Yeah,
it was walking and talking with Petey.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It was really cool to be there. I'm super grateful that we got to. That was my first NHL draft in person. It was your first NHL draft in person, so it was really cool to see all of that and to kind of feel like you're a part of it. We were the only outlet there really covering the Coyotes on both days, so it was awesome to be a part of, and it was cool to see. And I'm really impressed with all the Coyotes picks.
Yeah.
I know that it was a little shaky to start, but I think we're all feeling a little bit better. But yeah, it was great. So I'm excited to see what works out. Speaking of first time things, it was your first time in Nashville.
It was my first time in Nashville.
Thoughts, opinions? I'm interested to hear, because this was like my 6th time in Nashville. I'm a Nashville vet.
I enjoyed it. I love the East Coast. It's not exactly the East Coast, but like the weather. I know a lot of y'all hated it. I loved it. Like, I don't really mind the humidity, especially the day that it rained. I loved it.
Yeah.
But the city is cool. Like, we had the boat ride. First off, shout out the diehards who came out with us, but we had a boat ride with the diehards, and it was beautiful. Like, it's a beautiful city. I will say they need to work on their infrastructure a little bit. Traffic there sucked. It's not a city that is. It's a city that like looks like it should be built to host big events, but once you actually try and go to a big event in the city, it is clearly not built to host a big event.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Like, I'm not a country guy, but I got to go to Tootsie's with Petey, and that was awesome. I loved seeing all the live music, like, and just getting to rub shoulders with all the people, a bunch of different people in the NHL. I got to meet general manager of the Philadelphia Flyers, Daniel Briere, former Arizona Coyotes.
Shoulders?
Yeah.
Rub shoulders. They rub elbows.
Rub shoulders?
I don't.
Rub shoulders is like getting a massage.
Yeah.
A shoulder rub.
Is it
Did
brush
you just go
shoulders?
up to
Pretty sure
Danny
it's
Briere
brush
and rubbing his shoulders?
Diehards,
I
is it brush
thought
shoulders?
it rub elbows. Yeah, it's
Rub
rub
elbows and
elbows.
brush
Oh, it was a.
Yeah, you just took it. It's okay.
Okay. Yeah. No,
Anyway,
that's
keep
fine.
going.
That's again. I got to see for 2 hours. Also, we got chicken, and Shane said it wasn't life changing. I loved it. It was pretty damn good chicken, and the banana pudding I had.
Pretty damn good. It's not life changing.
Yeah.
The banana
I'm glad
pudding.
you liked it.
I enjoyed it.
I'm
really
obsessed with Nashville. Honestly, it might be my favorite city on the planet. We all know that I'm a little country girl, so I thrive in Nashville, despite not thriving right now because I'm violently hungover and I have 0 hours of sleep. I love it. I am disappointed though that like I went out every night except for the draft night, and I was the only one.
Okay.
You guys were lame.
Hey Mac.
Yeah.
Do you want to edit 10 hours of vlog footage?
Mac, you want to get up and produce shows at 9 a.m.?
No, I
Yeah,
don't
that's
do
what I
any of that.
for
I'm here
the record,
though, aren't I?
For the record, I really wanted to go out the last night, but circumstances kind of prevented me from doing
I went the hardest the last night, and I'm regretting it a little bit right now. I feel so unwell. My head is pounding.
Can I suggest a little hair of the dog?
No, I will probably throw up everywhere. But if I were to do hair of a dog, I would drink 4 Peaks.
Exactly. Because we're talking about sports. We were obviously at the NHL draft, and the reality is sports and 4 Peaks just go hand in hand. I know Chris is always at D-backs games. I'm always at D-backs games. Nothing's better at a D-backs game than a nice ice cold wow. And I don't know if you knew this, but Four Peaks is the official craft beer of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I did. I sure did
their,
know that.
Their Red on Red Ale. It's amazing. I love Four Peaks. It was, as Leah said on multiple occasions, one of the hardest parts of being in Nashville was not having Four Peaks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Four Peaks, you know they're amazing. We've been telling you about all the stuff they do for teachers. Head to 4peaks4teachers.com, the nominated teacher, for one of their $1,000 grants, or potentially a teacher lawn makeover. But you got to do it today. It's the last day to do it today. So do that. And check out our friends at Four Peaks Brew or at Fort Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. But you must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks. And please drink responsibly. Your head hurts?
Yeah, just a little bit. A lot, actually. Michael in the comments asked me how much should I drink. More than I should have, Michael. I am not well. I had a Vegas bomb for the first time. Never had one of those before, which I didn't know what it was. And when we were in the airport, I was asking Shane. I was like, Shane, do you know what a Vegas bomb is? Because we were in an airport. And I was like, I can't say bomb in an airport.
I respect that self-awareness.
No, it was actually crazy.
That's hilarious.
I was shocked that she.
I was still hammered at the airport, by the way. I was hammered at the airport and on the flight.
Yeah,
I was still
as soon
drunk.
as I got in the Uber this morning, you were like, I'm still drunk.
But I really wanted to know because I never had it before, and I burped a little bit, and it still tasted like Vegas bomb, and I thought I was gonna throw up everywhere.
Oh my God.
So I was like, Shane, what is in a Vegas bomb?
What is it? Because I've never even heard of that.
It's peach schnapps.
It's
Red Bull, Crown,
peach schnapps, cranberry juice. And dropped into a Red Bull.
Terrible.
It's not bad.
Oh,
No, it's
I'm not
awful.
I can't do Red Bull.
Yeah,
I was a big vodka Red Bull guy in
awful,
college.
you
And I
It's
can't
literally
do it.
just like a fancy Jaeger bomb. Like it's
I
fine.
can't. It was
But
terrible.
I'm not even like
Talking
I'm
about
not
it
great
makes
at
me wanna
drinking hard liquor, to be quite honest with you.
The only bombs I like are the ones that Corbin Carroll hits and sake bombs.
True.
That's fair.
But as I was saying, what's good for a headache?
Weed.
Weed. Our friends over at OGs.
Weed.
And there's no better time to take OGs because there's summer flavors here. I've talked about it a bunch. They're pink lemonade. Best flavor. Have you had the pink lemonade yet?
Yeah, it's so good.
Is it? Have you put it above the orange creamsicle? Like where are they in your power
okay.
ranking?
My official ranking, it's changed, which might shock some people.
Oh wow.
My number one right now is strawberries and cream Happy Balance.
Oh, okay.
It goes so hard.
Okay.
Like it tastes so good, and the CBD and the THC together just make me so happy. So strawberry cream 1, pink lemonade 2, orange creamsicle 3.
Okay, I'm pink lemonade, orange creamsicle, and then they got their fruits pack that I tried the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I gotta put that 3. I love them. You'll love them. The pink lemonade only available for a limited time, so you better go get it now before it's too late. It's the hottest thing that's gonna drop this summer. Hotter than pink lemonade, better than the pink tape. If you know, you know. But our friends over at OGs, check them out. Go online at ogsbrands.com and on Instagram at ogsbrands. You can also find the products at your local dispensary, but you must be 21 years or older to purchase.
Yes, Michael, I got through TSA drunk. I have some breaking news for you, actually, and it's breaking news that I'm upset about. I'm very sad. Per Craig Morgan, the Coyotes will not tender a qualifying offer to restricted free agent Christian Fischer, allowing him to become an unrestricted free agent and sign with another team. I'm so sad.
You want to know what makes me really sick to my stomach, actually? So when I played my NHL career mode like a few months ago or whatever, and I was the Coyotes, I didn't re-sign Christian Fischer. And you know where he signs? The Toronto Maple Leafs. And you know who is the special assistant to the GM in Toronto right now? Shane Doan. So if my damn NHL 23 predicted Christian Fischer going to the Maple Leafs, I'll be sick to my stomach. Also seeing Shane Doan with a Maple Leaf pin on his
my God.
Literally made me want to
reaction.
vomit.
I had to pinch my bridge of my nose so I didn't start crying because Shane Doan was talking to us and he had his little Maple Leafs pin on, and I was like, this is tragic. I hate everything about this.
I've said it once. I'll say it a million times. I love Shane Doan. He's a terrific person. I do not wish him any success because I hate the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I
wish that he would have had a different role here in Arizona.
Well,
he would have been
I
given
wish
the
him
chance
success.
to do.
I wish him success. I don't wish him any success in his role.
It's not his
Toronto.
fault that the Coyotes didn't use him better, to be honest.
I don't want Toronto to be successful. I hate them.
I know, I hate Toronto
and
too.
you join the enemy. That's what happens.
Anyways,
I hope he has a lot of success in his role and they don't do anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good way
if the Maple Leafs are going to do anything, and they're going to choke.
I hope they keep getting to the first round of the playoffs and then getting eliminated in sad fashion.
I'm very upset about Fish, though. I think Fish was one of the most quality human beings, just like a genuinely good human being. Always made time for anybody who needed it. was just a great human being and obviously a friend of the program. And I know that not necessarily when you're talking talent-wise, the first person that you think of when you think of a great talented Coyotes player, but still, like, you know, this team is in a very difficult position as an organization with all of the negativity surrounding the team with the relocation rumors and not having an arena. And Fish was like a ride or die. Like, he was always positive. He always brought a smile to people's faces. And I feel like he's someone that you want in a locker room when your organization is going through a hard time, because he's going to be a leader. He's going to be a morale lifter. And even if he didn't have a C or an A on his chest, like, he still took that as a responsibility because he was an older guy compared to some of the guys on the roster who has been with the organization for a while. And so I'm really bummed to see him not stay with the Coyotes, because I think you need a guy like Fish in the locker room when your organization is in a position like this. So.
Yeah, I agree. Fish is, I got to meet him a couple times, just obviously doing stuff with PHNX Coyotes, and he was, like you said, just one of the nicest guys ever. And so, especially when it seems like a lot goes wrong with this franchise, you like to have something positive like that.
That's an understatement.
But that is a man I will always definitely wish success for. While we're on the topic of breaking news, and while we got Chris right here, before she walks away again, we got a little breaking news earlier. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, no.
ASU women's basketball legendary coach Charlie Turner-Thorne joining the coaching staff for the Phoenix Mercury.
I love that.
Right? Isn't that awesome? Isn't that, like, I mean,
not head coach.
No,
right?
assistant.
Okay.
She's assistant to Nikki, I believe, right? Yeah. So I love that. I think just having her back in basketball in the state of Arizona is terrific.
A win is a win.
We got to talk to her on Sun Devils over a year ago, and one of the things we talked to her about was like what she's done, obviously with women's basketball in Native communities. Like, she's just great for the sport, and also like a pretty damn good coach. A struggling Mercury team who's probably going to end up having a pretty high draft pick next year.
Charlie Turner-Thorne gives me Sandy Brondello vibes. Like, she is such high quality basketball and IQ, such a great motivator, a good like people's coach. Like, will figure out what makes you tick and get the best out of you. And like, getting to watch her coach all 4 years when I went to Arizona State, and then after, as we covered them too, like, Charlie is a boss. And this is what the Mercury needs so bad, because I'm sorry, but Vanessa was not it. Like, Vanessa Nygaard, like, thank you for your time. But,
I was hopeful when she got hired,
no,
but
no, I was not. They should have never let go of Sandy in the first place.
Yes, but like, once they made Nygaard, or they named Nygaard the head coach, I
not happy about it. And it was basically a cost-saving move, because the previous owner of the Phoenix Suns didn't want to pay the head coach of the Phoenix Mercury what she was owed. So I was not a fan of the Vanessa Nygaard acquisition in the first place. So obviously, when Matt Ishbia bought the Suns, he came in and knocked some things down, which I was very happy about. The Mercury were vastly underperforming what they should have been, and I don't think Vanessa was the coach for this team. Obviously, there were a lot of falling outs that were happening between Diamond DeShields, Skylar Diggins-Smith not wanting to play. Like, it's just been a disaster with Vanessa. So I'm super excited that she's gone. Sorry, that's terrible. And we have a new coach who they're actually fired up about. All the players seem to be really excited about it. They won their game either last night or 2 nights ago, and they looked like a completely different team. Like, it looked like they actually wanted to be there. So
yeah, Chris and I were talking about it right before the show. It just seems like it's a different energy.
Yeah,
and like,
different energy.
It's not really a joke, but it's kind of a joke. Like, I don't really want them to win that many games, because I want Caitlin Clark to be a Phoenix Mercury. I think that would be pretty cool. But I'm not going to be out here necessarily rooting for them to lose. Like, if they can turn this around.
Happy for Charlie, though. That's
and having Charlie, like I said, that's the biggest thing. Having Charlie back in the thing. Chris yelled yes and then apologized for it. Like, that's not kind of just what we do here. Shane walked in on the Sun Devil or on the Coyote show and just kind of tickled Petey on the head today. We just do weird stuff here. It doesn't matter.
I'm doing a podcast with my sunglasses on my face.
Yeah.
It just happens, you know? The vibes are high.
Yeah,
you know, this is amazing.
What's that?
And my favorite thing that has happened in recent times.
What's that?
Corbin Carroll is going to the All-Star game as a starter.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm so happy about it. That actually just hurt my head so bad to yell that out. I don't know why I did that.
A little unnecessary, but I appreciate the energy nonetheless. Yeah, Corbin Carroll going to start for the National League in the All-Star game in his hometown of Seattle.
Let's freaking go. Hometown hero, baby.
Because, I mean, I guess it's not because it's Arizona sports, and I'm sure the fans would have figured out a way. I'm sure, like, if they had figured out a way to screw over Corbin Carroll and the Arizona Diamondbacks, I wouldn't have been surprised. But like based on pure deservedness, like duh.
Yeah.
Of course he's an all-star.
Yes.
But it's awesome that he gets to start in his hometown. Like I'm just excited for him.
Yeah.
And again, he's a rookie. So like it's a pretty damn good start to the career if you're getting an all-star game in your first year.
And you're already in the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
Like, kind of crazy. I'm just glad he's getting the recognition he deserves, because if any team was going to get overlooked on having a starter in the MLB All-Star game, it was going to be the Arizona Diamondbacks. Like,
yeah, 100%.
The Diamondbacks constantly have talent that, at least in one position, that is worth being a starter at the MLB All-Star game, and it just never happens because I hate the way that the MLB All-Star game works in terms of like fans having to vote, because then you have stupid fan bases like the freaking Dodgers voting in Joe Schmo Smith.
Well, I mean,
nobody cares about, but like they're like, oh, we gotta get all the Dodgers.
Let's be fair. The Diamondbacks were almost the benefactor of that, because Lourdes Gurriel had no right at this point had no right to be anywhere close to in this conversation, and basically just Toronto Blue Jays fans got him there. So like it is what it is.
I hate the way that it's set up. That's stupid.
I mean,
like the
I
best
don't know,
positional
like at the end of the day, I go
starting.
back and forth on this, because at the end of the day, All-Star games don't really mean anything. So like they're for the fans. So I don't have a problem with fans having a say. I don't think they should be like, I don't think it should be unilaterally the fans' decision, because fans are dumb as shit, including us. So like,
speak for yourself.
Listen, we were just talking about how we were all reacting to the Simashev pick. None of us knew what the hell we were talking about. We don't know what we're talking about. Sometimes
I didn't have a meltdown about it. I was just confused.
Everyone was
Please
confused.
subscribe to our YouTube channel
where we talk about sports.
We promise we're really knowledgeable.
We know
and we
what
know
we're
what
talking
we're talking about.
But we, sometimes fans can be stupid.
I'm so excited for Corbin though. The fact that the storyline of him getting to do it, his first All-Star game in his like hometown, is amazing. Like goosebumps. I feel like there's gonna be so much good content that comes out of the fact that he's getting to do that in Seattle. And I'm just happy that we're getting the recognition that this team deserves, because by golly, gosh darn it, they deserve it. And Corbin Barrels deserves it. It's way past time for him to get that,
But if they only have one starter in this All-Star game, it's going to be a damn shame, because Zach Gallen needs to be starting for the National League in the All-Star game as well. That we still have to wait and see. I don't think that's even really a conversation to be had at this point. Save for, like I was kind of saying on bets, like if he has a start and it just doesn't line up for him to actually be the physical starter, but he should be named the starter of the NL for the NL in the All-Star game.
I agree. And Merrill Kelly should be on that pitching staff as well. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
We'll see.
They they have a series with the Angels, Shohei Ohtani and the Angels. So I'm very excited to see how that goes.
Chase Field's going to be, is that home or away?
No, it's away.
Oh,
I wish it was here. I didn't know that it was away, to be quite honest with you, because I don't know what's going on. We've been in Nashville for 4 days. But yeah, I'm very excited for that series to see how they compete against a surprisingly decent Angels team. Shout out our friends Mountain Mike's, official pizza of your Los Angeles Angels. But yeah, I'm very excited. The D-backs are awesome, dude. They're just awesome. I don't care how the series against the Rays went.
They're so
awesome.
fun to watch.
I'm really hoping Tommy Henry is good. Tommy Henry tonight. We'll have to see. But it's a pretty damn good time to be an Arizona Diamondback fan. Yeah. I keep saying it. Chris, what are the Arizona Diamondbacks?
A wagon.
Thank you.
Woo!
They're a motherfucking wagon. So yeah, it's a great time to be a Diamondbacks fan. It's also a pretty good time to get burritos.
Oh, that sounds. I'm going to Burrito Express right after this.
I'm leaving right after this show.
I'm going to get Burrito Express. That sounds so good. That's going to bring me back to life.
I mean, it is the hangover cure.
It is.
You should hurry up then. You should speed through this.
Shane's like, can I please?
You're right. Yeah, you're right. They close at 3, so make sure you get there in time. Shout out our friends Burrito Express. Another bad part of us being in Nashville this week is we missed out on on Burrito Express bringing burritos to the office, which always sucks. But they're, like I said, they're the best burritos in the Valley. It's not even close, in my opinion. What's your favorite?
I go between Breakfast Supreme and Steak and Egg.
Okay.
Or Steak and Potato. I lied. Steak and Potato.
Steak. I mean, as I've said, I am I think the vice president at this point of the steak and salsa cult. Leah is, of course, the founder, leader, president, and Totri is assistant to the vice president. I don't know. He's third in the club. Whatever you go on the menu, you can't go wrong. Shout out our friends Burrito Express. Support ASU athletes, including our very own Jalen Conyers. So make sure you you check out Burrito Express and you follow them on Twitter at BurritoEXP. They're a pretty fun follow. I'm gonna just say that. Daniel's saying 3 salsas minimum. Get that heresy out of my chat. I don't want to see
4
it.
salsas
This is
minimum.
my show today, and this is a 2 salsa show.
It's a 4 salsa show.
You did 2 salsas. That's all
4
you need.
salsas minimum.
Shout out
Always.
Burrito Express. One last thing we want to touch on, because of course, Phoenix sports just wanted to kind of go a little crazy while we were super busy.
Like, why? Could we not have waited until the NHL draft was over?
It was a little
given
unnecessary.
us like 2 days.
We had the Bradley Beal press conference and also found out that Kyrie Irving wants to be a Sun, maybe. Shane kind of talked about this the other day. I don't really know how much the Irving thing is like real, or if it's just him trying to leverage the Mavericks. I saw Woj, or not Woj, who was it? Somebody on ESPN talking about
it was Woj.
No, it was somebody else. It was somebody yesterday I was watching on while we were at Love and Exile, and he was talking about
somebody who's probably no longer employed with the company.
Oh, too soon.
That's something.
And then the ESPN did have quite a few layoffs earlier today. But they were talking about how like there's really no market for Kyrie. Like he wants more than anyone's gonna want to give him, so he's kind of got to hope that the Mavericks just pony up, which is why I think the Suns report probably came up. But if it were to be true,
which I also don't think he wants to stay in Dallas. Like,
yeah, I don't know either. I mean,
did we not see what happened between him and Luka?
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't think he wants to be in Dallas.
Dallas,
I really don't.
Yeah, Dallas.
I would
Mark
also
Cuban is
want to be
convinced that's going to work, I think, and I don't know why.
Listen,
we'll see.
Kyrie is very polarizing.
Yeah, yes.
We all know this.
Yes.
We all are aware of this. The Earth is round, but
well, I don't think he ever denied that the Earth was round.
I'm just making a joke.
He just also thought it was flat.
The Earth is round. Kyrie is very polarizing.
Yes.
I don't know what money the Suns have that they seem to just be pulling out of thin air at this point to be trying to play.
That's what I was going to say. If he was going to come here, I would assume have to be on a vet minimum.
It would have to be a vet minimum. It would have to be way, way less than probably what he's hoping for. But let's just say in a wild universe.
And again, it's not that wild. Kyrie is a weird dude.
He is weird.
Like if there was a guy who was going to be like, I don't really need the money. I'm just going to play basketball. Like it's Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie, which is why I don't think this is a stretch. Like listen, like if all he cares about is wanting to join a team that has a really, really good chance of winning a championship, and he just wants another ring, the Phoenix Suns is the place to go.
I agree.
He already has a great rapport with Kevin Durant. I don't know how anyone else on the roster currently feels about him, but I mean, KD, if like KD's down, like I'm down, like whatever.
Yeah.
And so if he's like, I just want to win a ring, I want to join a team that I feel like is going to do that for me. I already have all the money I need. I will sign for a vet minimum. Who am I to say no? Like, what's the worst that could go wrong?
Daniel saying he doesn't want Kyrie even on a vet minimum. I'm not sure that I do either. Like, I mean, and he's tried to pull off in his past, but for the sake of this conversation, like I'm just talking about him as there. Like he is a very good basketball player, whether you like it or not. He's very good at the sport.
Do we or do we not need a point guard?
Do we need the Kyrie as a point guard though? That's a lot of cooks.
Who else are we going to get as a point guard?
I don't know, but that's a lot of cooks in that kitchen. And
the list of possibilities is dwindling.
And one of the cooks doesn't follow recipes, and he just throws the food at the wall.
That's what I'm saying.
Screams.
And again,
and burns sage in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and also like you got a bunch of guys who just kind of want to score the basketball. Like, and also like if Daniel's saying point book, which I agree. Like I love point book. If you get okay. But if you get Kyrie, you also have Bradley Beal, who naturally is a 2, and Devin Booker, who is also naturally a 2. So someone's got to play out of position now. And I get this position with basketball, blah, 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 whatever. It's just a lot. It's just I don't know how that fits.
Devin Booker is the best shooting guard in the league. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I said what I said.
I think he's the best guard in the league. Is that fair to say? He's the best guard in the league?
Who's your competition?
Steph, like you got
Luka Doncic is the best guard in the league. No, Shawn. 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 Be real with yourself.
But
No, there's no buts.
But I know. But I mean, okay, but it
What
is SGA better than Devin Booker?
No.
My only counterpoint to the Luka thing is that at least over this past year, Devin Booker's performance has actually led to some kind of winning. But I guess it did. Luka's did too until Kyrie showed up. Yeah,
Luka.
Anyway, Devin Booker's the best shooting guard in the league.
That's fine. I'll give it up. I'll give it to Luka. He's a top 3 guard in the league, right? So I don't know. I don't think Kyrie's necessary. I don't think it's worth the risk of even on a vet minimum. Like, I think the other stuff is too big of a risk. Even though he's been on his best behavior, I think, since he's gone to Dallas. I still don't want the risk. Shawn saying that they should target Gabe Vincent. This is a pro Gabe Vincent company. So absolutely, sign me up. Stay away from Fred VanVleet, please. I don't want that man.
So Kyrie, yes or no?
No. You're saying Kyrie, yes?
Yep. Give me Kyrie. Super team.
Shane, that was Shane? Daniel said Shane, and Shane just was looking around. Are you yes or no on Kyrie?
I mean, this
on a vet minimum.
This team is already, I mean, it would have to be, literally. They're not trading DA for. This team's already just like a midnight snack you make when you're high. So.
yes. It's what is it? You with ramen and black beans?
Yeah.
Not that it was a.
So why don't we just add like some marshmallow fluff to a PB&J sandwich?
Hell yeah! Give me that marshmallow fluff, baby.
Just see if it works. Again, I think I bring this up every time I talk about Kyrie, and I guess not really Kyrie, but the Nets. They were a shoe size away from being in the finals. So, like, it's not like that experiment is necessarily a complete failure, like people like to pretend it was. I mean, it was a failure because they didn't want a ring, but it wasn't as abjectly terrible as people like to pretend it was. I think it could work. I don't think it's worth the risk, especially when you just need more than just Kyrie. But again, vet minimum, whatever. I don't know. I'm out on Kyrie though.
Shake my head.
I'm
not out on?
Who?
Bradley Beal.
That's where I was going.
Hey, I know that one guy. I know that one guy, Kyrie Irving, burned sage at TD Garden. That's what I was referencing.
Yes.
Kyrie's not. I mean, okay, never mind. It's problematic. Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal is a Phoenix Sun.
What a
statement.
He had his introductory press conference. To me, the highlight was him saying, "This is Book Nation," which is important to me.
Book Nation.
Because I
write that down and tattoo it on my forehead.
Well, let's not do that. I saw someone make the joke on Twitter. They're like, when I'm at the library, but I forget what it's called. And you just say, "This is Book Nation," which I found hilarious. Twitter's a good place, but I think it's important.
Twitter is not a good place.
It's not a good place. It's a fun place.
Terrible place.
That's an important distinction.
Especially if you operate Twitter in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay. Yeah. We're not going back there. But
Book Nation.
Freaking I think it's important because I think the problem that you get with super teams is the conflicting all the personalities, whatever. But I think you saw in Golden State when KD was there, that was still Steph Curry's team. He knew it was Steph Curry's team. Everybody knew it was Steph Curry's team.
You're going off right now. Keep going.
This is Devin Booker's team. Whether he was here first, and it's kind of what this is about. Like the Heatles, that was still Dwayne Wade's team. Like Devin Booker, the Phoenix Suns are Devin Booker. Devin Booker are the Phoenix Suns. KD just showed up. Beal hasn't played a game yet. Like, of course it's Book Nation. It's Devin Booker's team. But them acknowledging it, especially a guy like Bradley Beal, it's been Bradley Beal and the Washington Wizards for a grip now. Like, it's just been him.
Yeah.
Him acknowledging that this is
huge.
That he's gonna, in some ways, have to take a back seat to Devin Booker. Crucial to this team being successful with the amount of personalities and ball dominance they have on this team.
Yeah. 1,000% agree. That put a lot of my lingering questions to rest when he said that, because like you said, he has been a Washington Wizard for his entire career, and the Washington Wizards attempted to build around Bradley Beal, and it just did not work out. So when you have the mentality, if this is my team, going to a team that is not your team can get a little bit dicey. So the fact that he was like, it's Book Nation, I was ready to throw my hands up and say hallelujah.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that he acknowledged that, because it is Book's team. Book literally said, Devin Booker, the super team is here, baby. You did it. You have done it.
He spoke that into existence.
You spoke it. You manifested that shit so hard.
Going to stay here and bring talent to him at a time when fucking nobody wanted to play in Phoenix.
Nobody.
In any sport.
We were digging through the bargain barrel at the dollar store to get a free agent to come here. Are you kidding me?
to someone from the East Coast, even then, inexplicably unattractive.
No.
Like, I didn't understand why people
totally. This is Devin Booker's team. And KD also recognized it too at his press conference. Like, I'm excited to play with Book. This is Book's team. So I think a lot of the criticism that the Suns are getting now is like, oh, they're building a super team. They're not going about it the right way. Like, this is the Brooklyn Nets 2.0.
Yeah.
Like, the Brooklyn Nets were, you know, a little bit more different situation. I think those also personalities came into it with like not being on the same page. Like
and
James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant.
I think all the super teams. This kind of Shane checked me on this because I'm kind of just thinking like I feel like all the super teams that have been successful have not been like the Warriors, right? Or like the big threes, right? The Warriors, they had Clay and Curry already there. The Heat already had Dwayne Wade there. The Celtics already had Paul Pierce there. Like
you're talking about just one player?
Like I'm talking about like as opposed to the Nets where they kind of just brought everybody there. Like and it didn't really work.
There wasn't like a cornerstone.
It was not there was not it was KD's team, but I don't think anybody on that like on any of those other guys thought it was KD's team. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
Right? So like I think it's really important that there is a kind of a pecking order here. Not necessarily that it's not a pecking order, but like it's just an acknowledgement of what this team is, and that's acknowledging that it's Devin Booker's team.
Yep. Absolutely. Agree.
Anything else on the Suns or Bradley Beal?
I'm just super stoked. I was really impressed by Bradley Beal's press conference.
Got such a great smile. He seemed very happy.
He seems like just like such an
He also looked, I gotta say this, he looked goofy as hell in that suit. He looked like he was trying to he looked like he was trying to sell me insurance or a car or something.
His kids being there was really cute too. But I'm very excited. Obviously, we won't know how it's gonna play out until we see it on the court, and that's not gonna happen for a little bit longer, but very happy he's here. I think it's going to be great to see him shine in an environment that has actual supporting pieces around him, which is one of the things he hit on his press conference. He was like, I'm excited to play with like actual players.
Yeah, right.
Like, no offense to the Wizards, but like, damn.
But the best player he's ever played with is John Wall. And like, I love John Wall, but that's not even a top, like, I don't know. John Wall in his prime was pretty dope, to be quite honest, but he had a short career, dealt with injuries. And then he had a weird era of Kristaps Porzingis. That's probably the second best player he's ever played with.
Poor Bradley.
Like, that's not really the same as playing with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
No.
One thing I also appreciate about Bradley Beal is how well groomed he is. Got a nice lineup. His facial hair is all well groomed.
Oh no.
I wonder,
Mac, do you agree?
What are your thoughts on that?
It is full transparency for everyone who doesn't know. I was late today because I am struggling violently to.
No.
This
is my punishment for being late. I have to read this Manscaped read, and you all have to listen to it.
You were late today. Tell the people why you were really late today.
I was trying to get some sleep because I owned the not.
No. Tell the people why you were really late today.
I needed to get food before I came here because I was operating on an empty stomach.
She was stuck at Starbucks.
Throw up everywhere.
She was
so
stuck
I got
at
Starbucks. Okay,
this didn't take me any time to get because our good friend Daniel brought us coffee to the office.
Well,
shout out.
Have not been on my phone because I am unwell. So my punishment for being late is having to read this Manscaped read. So buckle up, everyone, because I'm not skipping anything.
She has an audience, by the way. Chris and Daniel still here.
I have a question.
Oh, what's that?
What is more American than a bald eagle?
Cleanly shaved nuts.
The 4th of July is almost here. And that means a couple of things. Barbecues, pool parties, and last but not least, glizzies.
Yes.
And it just so happens that the sponsor of today's show, Manscaped, are making sure that all glizzy gladiators across the nation are groomed for battle on America's birthday.
Look good, feel good, play good.
From sea to shining sea. This feels very anti-American, by the way. Like, I almost feel bad reading this before the 4th of July. Anyway, from sea to shining sea, join over 8 million Pew Patriots worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer just for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with our code PHNX at manscaped.com. Talk about an American dream. I personally have never used Manscaped, but I've heard great things.
It is great. I got a compliment on my mustache while we were in Nashville. I was like, I literally just looked at her. I was like, Manscaped. She was like, what? And I was just like,
anyways.
If you know, you know.
But it's only right to start America's favorite holiday with the Performance Package 4.0. You get the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all of your goodies. Take your freedom bells to the next level by going to manscaped.com and get 20% off with free shipping with our discount code PHNX. Get your independence back this Independence Day and unlock your confidence with Manscaped.
Anything else before we get out of here?
I need to go sleep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't have anything else either.
No.
Shout out everyone in the chat. I know that one. We had a few new people today, I feel like. I know that one guy, Shawn. We have, of course, the usual